So, I was thinking of a way to start off this video in a very amusing and very interesting way, but I couldn't think of one. So I'm just gonna start this video off by saying this. We're possibly getting a new Straw Hat. Yeah, that's all I really need to say. So let's get to the review. Hey guys, how's it going? It is your boy, Manga Andrew, and I'm here to do another review for One Piece Manga Chapter 1051 titled, and this is going to be a very big spoiler for this chapter, The Shogun of Wano, Kozuki Momonosuke. So yeah, if you were unaware of what this chapter is all about, the title pretty much gives it away. Because from what we see in this chapter, we primarily focus on the major reveal of Kozuki Momonosuke becoming the Shogun of Wano, as well as we get to see small tidbits of people reacting to this information, as well as a very wonderful speech and an unexpected flashback. So let's just get to the point of this review and talk more about this chapter. Because with this chapter, we do start off with the cover page, which is just showing that the Vinsmokes were able to escape Whole Cake Island. So yeah, as far as we know, there's nothing much that we can really say about that. We could have more characters involved in this cover story, but as far as we know, the Vinsmokes were able to achieve their goals of rescuing their other siblings, and now most likely than not, they're just going to leave Whole Cake Island, leave Whole Cake Chateau, and then just do whatever the heck they want. But without the way, let's dive into probably the part that you are wanting to hear the most. That we potentially have a new individual joining the Straw Hat crew. And from what we see, it's not Yamato, it's not Momonosuke, it's not Tama, and it's not Carrot. Oh wait, no, it actually is Yamato. And it isn't straight out confirmed that Yamato is going to join the crew, but we do get to see the reactions to the other individuals of the Straw Hat crew reacting to Yamato's declaration. So it is very likely that Yamato is going to be joining the crew, but we cannot say for certain until Luffy actually announces that she's able to join the crew. And as far as we see, people like Sanji and Brook are very excited for her to join the crew, while characters like Nami as well as Usopp are very shocked, and how Frankie, Robin, and Jinbei are just very indifferent to the situation. So overall, this is a major reveal that could shake up the dynamics of the Straw Hat crew and moving forward with a new potential Straw Hat, as well as we do get few instances in this chapter that could potentially rule out Tama as well as Momonosuke being also new Straw Hat members. And let's talk about Tama for a little bit in this part, because we did get something in this chapter that was very unexpected. We get to see Tama's flashback a little bit more in detail. More specifically, we get to see Tama's life before she most likely met Ace, and most likely before she met Straw Hat Luffy. Because we do get a little bit more information about Tama in the flashback, and a little bit before that, we do get a little bit more knowledge about how her devil fruit works, and how she's able to control animals up until a month or a full moon cycle, and that potentially the animals could go back to normal or choose to remain by her side. So potentially with that idea in mind, all of the gifters that have the dango made from Tama could eventually turn tail and be enemies once again within a month, or in a similar case, could be like Horsalina and actually join and stay by Tama's side. And in this chapter, we did have a very cute moment of Tama calling Horsalina a mother figure, which is very shocking to both Horsalina and Nami. But that is also something very important because we do get to get more information about Tama and her parents and how they died when she was still relatively young, and how she eventually had to resort to making the Casa hats to survive, where she was eventually taken up by Tengu. And how at the beginning of this arc, Tama had this idea that the Kazukis would return, and that idea was put in her head by Tengu himself. So we pretty much do full circle when it comes to Tama at the beginning of the story and right now, showing that yes, Wano is about to conclude, and most likely the people of Wano have been freed, including Tama, and how she no longer has to worry about living in a land where she would be unable to eat, upholding both Ace's as well as Luffy's will to make sure that she, as well as everyone else in Wano, no longer goes hungry. So it's a very touching and very emotional moment involving Tama, because it shows that Wano is beginning to wrap up. And we even see a little bit more of that with Momonosuke himself. Because as you would expect, we do get the reveal of what Momonosuke looks like in his adult form. And before we even get to that moment, we have Momonosuke giving a speech to everyone in Wano, and how many people are questioning whether or not this situation is real, but that confirmation comes in by the 9 red scabbards being revealed and being by Momonosuke's side. And most likely than not, there's going to be controversies when it comes to how the red scabbards were treated in this arc and during the war, specifically when it comes to the characters of Okiku and Kinemon. They do appear to be very healed up, and they appear to be, you know, not dead. And me personally, I'm not that fixated on having death in a story, or even when it comes to consequences of characters dying due to a war. So I am not irritated or really mad about that. What I get mad about is if there is confirmation that these characters are dying or are going to die, and then they don't, and we are just straight up lied to. Because when it came to Kinemon as well as Okiku, there were hints that they would still be alive and that they weren't going to immediately die, in comparison to other series where characters have seemingly died, but then came immediately back to life. So I'm very okay with the fact that they are still alive, as well as the other red scabbards being alive. The only issue that I would have would be if Ashura Doji is revealed to be alive, because it seems as if his specific sacrifice is meant to be a little bit more permanent than Okiku and Kinemon. So yeah, we do get to see that they are there, and the fact that they are there really pretty much cements into the people of Wano that Wano is in the process of being freed, as well as the speech given by Momonosuke as we get his reveal. And weirdly enough, Momonosuke does not really look like Oden to a certain extent. He does have certain features of Oden because obviously he is the son of Oden, but he does look like a very distinct individual. So he doesn't really exactly look like his father, nor does he exactly look like his mother, but it's more of a fusion of the two because obviously he is their child. And I really do like the design of an older Momonosuke because he does look a little bit more regal, and he also looks like a very attractive man. But overall, his aesthetic and his features are very pleasing. They're very soft, yet strong. He looks a little bit rugged, but yet still shows that he is very caring. And I think that his demeanor, as well as his aesthetic, really emphasizes that he is going to be a shogun, someone that deserves and demands respect. Even though he still has the mentality of an 8-year-old, which we see as he's giving the speech and begins to falter towards the end, but he remembers the words provided to him by Luffy and regains his conviction, announcing that he is Momonosuke and that he is going to be the shogun of Wano. As the chapter ends with a slight confirmation from the narrator that Momonosuke is going to be known as probably Wano's greatest shogun as the chapter ends, with a very small and touching reunion between Komurasaki, aka Hiyori, and Momonosuke, her older brother. So yeah, overall, this was once again a really good chapter for One Piece. We got a fair amount of the story being wrapped up, mainly involving what's going on with Yamato and her joining the crew. Getting to see Momonosuke's adult form at the end of this chapter, more or less. Getting more confirmation on which of the red scabbards are actually alive, which is, for the most part, most of them besides Ashura Doji. And also, you know, Kanjuro, but we don't speak about Kanjuro. And overall, getting more closure for Tama and her involvement in the story, and finally upholding the promise, as well as getting a little bit more context to her backstory, as well as getting to see more of her character resolved. And that this could potentially lead to Otama not joining the crew, because most likely than not, she would still need to remain at Wano to be in charge of the gifters that are most likely going to join her after a month's period. Or that potentially she could stow away on the ship and that those gifters will still be worried about her, but will still be loyal to her, and not necessarily as servants, but as friends and family. So yeah, overall, really enjoyed this chapter of One Piece. Thought it was once again another good chapter when it comes to One Piece, and is another good start to the wrap up of the Wano arc. So, let me ask you, what did you think of the reveals in this chapter? Do you think that Tama's story is finished right now, or do you think that there's more to tell? And do you really think that Yamato is going to join the crew, or if she's going to stay in Wano? And what do you think is going to be happening with Momonosuke with the upcoming chapters? Do you think he's going to stay on Wano, or sail the seas with the Straw Hats? Leave your comments down in the comments down below. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to see more content like this, and don't forget to leave a like on the video if you like this type of content. Do all that cool jazz, and hopefully I'll be able to catch you in my next video. Goodbye!